And we're live. Good morning,
Hey,
everybody.
we're in front of the internet.
We
the
are the
whole
internet.
the whole thing. Hey everybody. Well, welcome back. We're Morning Ritual. We had a bit of a vacay and now we have returned and with a very special guest with us today. Uh Hi Markeia, would you like to introduce yourself to the people?
Sure. Hello, Internet. I'm Markeia McCarty. Good to see you again. We do see each other a lot. Yeah. So about me, I am. I've worn many hats. I am first and foremost a big nerd when it comes to anything video games, TTRPGs, comic books, horror, just wrestling, name it, and I'm a nerd for it. And I've had the opportunities to be able to do that professionally. So I've been a host, MC, a journalist when it comes to like nerd culture and geek culture, which are different. They're very different. Uh, uh, along with that, I'm currently the marketing manager for Hunters Entertainment, which is an indie game developer. And you might know Alice is Missing, Outbreak Undead, Altered Carbon. So I'm the marketing manager for that company.
And my
I
favorite,
have
Kids
been
on Bikes.
Kids on Bikes, right? Of course, that's how I know Noir, right? You know, and I'm
That's what
doing like that because you're below me, like in the little windows. It's like
I got
Anita's over here. No, wait, I got
I'm
mirror
a,
my video on right now. There's
also
Anita. Wait, there's Noir.
and on the overlay it's just you're over there and Anita's just above me. So I have to say, I started playing Outbreak, and I think Outbreak might be my favorite Hunters game.
You say that until you play the next Hunters game. Like
Well,
you
that's true.
you haven't had a chance to play Ragnarok yet.
I
So
have not. I have not. I have not. But like, I thought Kids on Bike was going to be my. Well, you know what? Actually, I think it's still Alice is Missing because that game consistently makes me cry.
Aw. Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's a very huge emotional impact. Like Spencer Stark like outdid himself with the creation of Alice is Missing.
Yeah, it's so good. It's so good. I don't know anybody that can play that and keep a dry eye. But
Oh, right. It's not possible because we're superhuman, and that's what that's all about.
but
But yeah, and I've been on I've played for a number of channels, Hyper RPG, Critical Role, definitely Geek and Sundry for like a number of shows. So yeah, and then worked for Nerdist. There's a lot of nerd background. Uh,
and yet somebody will still dare question your creds. I hate the internet.
It's true.
I was just about to say, yeah, you've been everywhere. Like it's kind of funny, because ever since I've played with you, I'll just be watching my a show that I like, and you pop up. I'm like, how do we keep doing that? Oh, I have to say, I am wowed by just how everywhere you are. So that leads me to ask a question that I'm curious on. You have worn hats where you like represent a brand, basically. I believe I saw you do something for DC at one
yeah,
point.
DC Daily. I was part of the origin cast for that, like first season. For
So
DC.
when you do something like that in the public eye, I mean, I imagine that would put the DC label over your head for a while. Does it ever make it kind of hard to like let loose some of your Marvel thoughts online?
Well, when I worked for DC, they actually scouted me because of a Marvel show that I
Oh,
had been doing. Yeah. So, where I have been doing Marvel movie news, and because like the industry is huge and very small at the same time, that's how I that's how they ended up being aware of me, and because I had a number of friends that were also Marvel meets DC, and they helped like introduce.
Okay.
And yeah, and then like went in for the audition. It was a good fit, and so the very fact that I was able to talk Marvel along with DC actually was a draw. I do recommend just broadening your nerd wings and whatever you're interested in, getting to know the stuff on it, not obnoxiously getting to know the stuff with it, like where you try to best somebody else. It's just more like you learn more about the things that you like so that you can connect more with people and bring them in different ways. That's how I've lived my life, basically.
I'm curious about that. Bring me in on that. Could you like give me an example of you learning an extra layer in something?
Sure. I mean, I was a military brat, so I spent my childhood, bouncing around bases in Europe and in other countries, and with that, you basically America is in that one place. And whatever's in the commissary or exchange is what you have for entertainment. Either that or it's whatever people bring with them from base to base. So therefore, if you want to really connect with people, like let's say that you're really huge into video games and you're like, let's say DC versus Marvel or a Capcom kind of, or Mortal Kombat, that's like your thing. You go somewhere like, let's say your family gets stationed in Rota, Spain, and the base culture there is that everybody's into comic books, but you don't know comic books. It's like you know Capcom, versus Marvel or whatever. So
Right.
you teach them that, and they teach you comic books so that all of you can talk.
Okay.
All of you can nerd together. So that's what I grew up with. So that's why I'm Marvel and DC. That's why I'm wrestling. That's why I'm video games. I mean, it was survival.
You've been
Survival.
training yourself to introduce new nerdy concepts from the very beginning, which is kind of like what you do now.
It's like your life.
It is literally my life. Yeah, I don't know. My entire life prepared me for now.
I was born in the nerdiness. No, we're not.
Nearly adopted it.
It's been 9 years. I'll let it go. So I have to ask your opinion, having you been a MCU and a DC person. What are your opinions on the two different cinematic universes right now?
Oh, sure. Okay, but for this, are we also including Marvel's streaming universe, which is that I've been using? MSU.
So
or you just want MCU and DCEU?
So the way I look at it, and I'm very curious about your perspective on how I see the MCU. I think that everything in the MCU is canon except, unfortunately, the Netflix shows and Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. I think and I'll say like I don't see Runaways and Cloak and Dagger being canon either, even though they're really good shows and they should be. I don't see those being canon either, but I think the movies, the Disney Plus shows, I think that's it, in the comic books. But
okay, well, yeah, well, with the MCU, and of course, we're talking what phase 1 through 3, little bit of phase 4. So with that, yeah, it was kind of encapsulated, but also hinting at things that had happened within what did we call it then? Marvel Netflix. That it happened with Marvel Netflix and happened with like Freeform and everything. Literally, thanks probably to the pandemic, that barrier is a little less stringent. I mean,
Yeah.
think of the fact like and it is I've pandemic, and then also just going through life and it being early. I forget the agent's name. He's the one from Ant-Man who learned how to do
The card tricks.
Jimmy
Woo.
Woo, thank you. Like for instance, Woo. I mean, he's in Marvel Cinematic Universe. He's
Right.
also in Marvel Streaming Universe as the same character. Like that. That's what I'm talking about. Like with that bleed over and what they're doing with canon in that. Like WandaVision. Oh my gosh,
Oh, so
they
good.
they literally
Ridiculously
take
good.
this. So good, so good. They literally take everything. Well, not everything. You know, they literally take this beautiful material that's established in the MCU and then take it and personalize it and bring it into our homes. And they talk about the nuances of grief along with continuing, you know, the MCU canon. So, I mean, at this point, I don't see any reason, since they are like literally in our homes, in our faces right now, like that they wouldn't, when we get back to going back to the MCU. I don't see any reason why what's been established there, especially with Captain America and the Winter Soldier, wouldn't then. So it's like, it's kind of that line of, I think canon is just going to be what happens now, unless it's a television show that's outside of Disney Plus.
So what's your reasoning for Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. not being canon now?
I think because it's not under Disney Plus is the reason why it isn't. If it happens to where Disney Plus does Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., then I think things will start being canon.
Okay.
I've got it.
We did have the Grimwald.
Yeah, they have.
Yeah.
And there was a huge tie-in with
the Darkhold.
Yeah, the Darkhold, and there was a huge tie-in with, like, right in the first season, with Captain America.
Mm-hmm.
I have a hope, rather. I'm not a feeling, but a hope. With just all the casting news that we're hearing from the new Spider-Man movie, and of course with Doctor Strange's movie being the Multiverse of Madness, I think this phase is going to be Marvel reckoning all the loose canon and pulling them all into. I think this is Marvel trying to fix itself now that they have all their rights and everything.
Yeah,
I think it's about to get real weird.
I think it's gonna get very weird. I think we're gonna have 3 different Spider-Man, which is gonna be dope. I think they're gonna finally make the Netflix series canon, which I want them to make it canon. So I love Daredevil. It's so good. Anyway. Okay, so clearly we all have a fondness for the MCU and like we're well versed in it. So now I need to get your opinion on the DC Cinematic Universe, because that's where I feel like opinions are really gonna differ. And like you are like I love how like perfectly even keeled you are. So like I can't imagine you going too hard on the cinematic universe or DC Cinematic Universe, whereas me, I'm just a dumb movie fanatic, so I go hard on the DC universe.
yeah. No, it's like for me, I watch a lot of I mean, going back to me growing up as a military brat, you know, most times TV channels would not necessarily be plentiful, depending on the base that we were on. And so with that, we basically lived through movies that you could buy and that you would like rewatch. So I grew up with, oh, is this a movie? I'll find something I love in it, you know, as opposed to being like, this isn't as good as the other thing that I saw by this director or this actor or this writer. It's always like, hey, I understand the highs and lows that came with this particular property, like this particular movie. I understand the background within it. Here's something I liked. The other things, you know, There's other. That's how I.
That's fair.
Yeah. So with the DC cinematic universe, I mean, I know that there are some very strongly opinionated people about it, and that they will, they're ride or die when it
Right.
comes to DC. I prefer the DC animated universe.
Yes.
Hard agree.
Than the live action. I feel like they're able to with that. Like there's less hands in the pie, like less cooks in the kitchen when it comes to DC animated, and I think they excel incredibly at that. I mean, just thinking about the animated Batman animated, or just like anything involving Joker with our Suicide Squad. When you think like an animated, and I'm not just talking about the original Batman series or Batman Beyond, I'm talking about the animated movies as well.
Yeah.
And because they're able to keep it closer to comic book canon, they're able to get those inside jokes kind of a deal. You're able to have an older Harley hitting hitting her granddaughters. You're like, that's not how you do it. We didn't do it in my day like that. You're able to have all of these moments because everybody's in on it. For the live action, I feel like there are some things that just don't translate as well. And then because of the breadth of content that they had and what they want to put into a movie, and then perhaps they don't have people that are comic book people involved in decisions that happen with whether a particular theatrical cut is an original director's vision, or whether it is the way that a third act happens in Suicide Squad. It's like you can tell when it gets to that movie stage, live action movie stage, there's other people that are involved. And when you don't have a Kevin Feige holding it all together, then you are just going to have different visions of things than what you would necessarily want, or would be good for the through line of the universe.
And you will have ones that are... Sorry. And
go ahead.
You will have ones that match up with the vision a little bit better than others. Like, for example, the first Wonder Woman movie. Beautiful, cinematic, like, tells a good Wonder Woman story from beat to beat to beat. But you probably wouldn't get that if you had the same director doing, like, The Flash, or... Because...
Yeah.
It's so hard. It's so difficult.
Yeah.
That is one of the... I will say that's one of the things that I think that DC does do better than Marvel, which is letting the directors kind of have more of a voice in how the story is told. And I think that there are times where that works, like with oh my god, I can't believe I forgot her name.
Just describe the movie and we'll know it.
I was the director, Patty. Oh god
Patty
dang
Jenkins?
it. Yes, Patty Jenkins for Wonder Woman. That worked because she understands the source material and she's an amazing director.
Yeah, and she fought for it. She fought hard for her vision too.
And it's a shame that they have to. And I was gonna say Shazam is another great example of just like that movie feels good. Like everybody involved in that project, you can tell cared about the character and bringing the comic book page to life. That's when I have to look at things like Justice League, and I'm like, you guys have the animated series to kind of guide your way. How do we keep this up? I do have to say the Snyder Cut though was much better. So I mean, I guess again we saw with the original cut somebody else's vision conflicting with the original director's vision and studio interference, but it's still y'all got the best animated movies. Come on.
It's all about higher ups when it comes to it and their vision for things. But you know, the absolute best thing with it is that it's not over. It's not
True.
like what the Dark Universe
from that hurts my heart.
Universal Studios, Universal Pictures. Yeah, it's not like that where it's just like, and we're good. And who says that won't come back either? Pandemic happened at just the time to stop everything else. So I mean, there's still the possibility to have more things that are in line. I do feel pretty strongly though about the fact that movie trajectories can be ruined when they listen to fans too much.
Can confirm.
I will definitely say that off the bat because everybody has an opinion, you know, in their own fan way. You can't cater to everyone. It's just not possible. And it's people, no matter how loud and proud they can be about their particular character or a storyline or something like that, they always want to be surprised by something else.
True. Definitely.
You know, to bring around, and I don't mean like surprise for like shock value, where it's like Walking Dead and you're gonna kill two characters instead of the one that you're thinking of because we're crazy in this piece. You know, it's not like that. It's like literally, for like a Marvel example is having Ego the Living Planet as a baddie. It's like, what? You did it. You know, that kind of a thing.
I you know, and I think that's something else that I have to give Marvel props for. A lot of the changes that they made. I mean, they do go out on a limb because some of them haven't landed as hard. I'll say the twist, spoiler for a movie that's like 5 years old, but the twist in Iron Man 3 with the Mandarin. Like sometimes it doesn't land as hard, but I still respect the swing, you know?
Yeah. Or like in Suicide Squad, when it's like right off the bat, we're killing one of them because this is what Suicide Squad is. It's like, did you come for a superheroes Expendables? We're giving it to you. You know, so it's like that. I like the surprises. I like the things that they pull out of like deep dark canon. It would be great if we would be able to get something DC like we have now with Disney Plus, where we could go in with these characters. You know, there's so much more to DC than Batman, Joker, and you know their rogue galleries. You know, or Justice League. There's so much more to it. And I really would like to spend personal time like we have been able to with like Marvel.
Give me a Dr. Fate movie, Q cowards.
DC actually was the one that started, not started, but they seem to have the platform in a very beta way of what Disney Plus is now with the DC universe, with Titans and Doom Patrol and Swamp Thing, and that kind of went belly up. But I feel like if they just held on a bit longer and told the right story, that could have hit.
Well, Doom Patrol is an amazing TV show. And
it's so good. It's so good.
Recommend. If you haven't watched it, you need to watch it.
You will cry.
Yeah. I mean,
DC's TV properties have been like really good.
Exactly. Yeah.
Well, Titans exist, so let's.
Doing it.
Titans. Okay. CW shows have been good for the most part. Arrowverse stuff.
Yeah, I loved Flash for a while there. Then I just stopped watching. I don't remember why.
I got mad at Flash.
That's because
a lot of shows.
It's because they always take somebody out in the hallway to talk.
That and every single problem is solved by running fast.
Well, I mean, he is the Flash.
It's true.
So you gotta
It's true. It's true. But it's like the plot for every single Flash episode can be solved by Barry, you need to run faster. But I've never run that fast before. But you need to run faster. Faster, Barry. Run, Barry, run.
For the fastest man alive, he is often the second fastest man alive on that show.
Yeah. And obviously how it's through CW fashion, people could have solved their problems simply by talking about them, but they don't for the drama.
I mean, that's true. That's true. Again, that is all CW shows now that I think about it. Jesus Christ.
Communication. I mean, even Buffy, there was more communication, maybe less deaths, but maybe not. It's like
That's the thing. That's kind of like my most hated trope is that two characters who could have solved a problem with a single conversation or like a heads up could have saved a whole ton of drama, but they don't. It's the reason why I stopped watching Gilmore Girls. Same problem.
In a way, it kind of feels like life. I mean, I feel like we've kind of gotten better at communication because we had to, like with a pandemic and like Zoom and the such. But I don't know. You know, time will tell with it. I'm sure there's a lot of stuff that happens in our everyday lives that we still don't talk about.
True.
Yeah.
That's fair. But
so, turning this interview train around, I have to know what was your first professional gig in nerddom? Like in like, what was the first gig where you turned your nerd passion into like, you know, a job?
Okay. Yeah. I mean, like, taking it out of adolescence to like where I considered it to be professional, like nerd job. That would be when I started as a wrestling host for AfterBuzz TV in Los Angeles, California. And with that, it was literally just bringing back my passion for wrestling, because I had really been into like, you know, 90s era wrestling and everything like that. And then it's like bringing that back around to where it was currently. And I was a host for Main Event, WWE Main Event, which was happening on Wednesday nights at that time. And it was literally, we watched the show, me and a panel of other people, and then we talk about our thoughts with it. And, you know, we bring up our history and, you know, with like for these wrestlers and what we want to come and our predictions and everything like that. And then that kind of built onto other things where I ended up on the WWE Raw show, Raw After Show with AfterBuzz TV and doing their pay-per-views, went to WrestleMania, interviewed wrestlers. My very first professional interview that I consider with like hosts, you can see it online right now. It's on YouTube. It's me interviewing John Cena. That is literally the first time that I did like a professional interview, and it just happened to be John Cena. And it was just like, you can take a look at that. You know, I did very well. I did very well.
I'm sorry, you're cool as shit. Like how?
Yeah.
Like how?
Because it was video games meets was it SummerSlam, because it was the new it was the new WWE wrestling game. I forget which one it was right now, but because of that, it was like, oh, it's like, yeah, you should do this. You know, video games and also wrestling. And I'm like, heck yeah, I should do it. In fact, why didn't you ask before?
That's amazing. Like, and so I have to ask, what has been like the highlight of your very vast and varied career? Like, you've worked
I
with
interviewed
names.
Oprah.
Yeah. You know what? That's it.
Oh my god. Yeah. I mean, I'm sure there's going to be other highlights in my career because I'm not planning on checking out anytime soon. I'm going to be like Angela Bassett in this piece, looking exactly like this and doing what I do. Was it like Angela Bassett meets Aisha Tyler? That's what I'm going for with it. Yeah, no. Yeah, I interviewed Oprah and it was amazing. It was for A Wrinkle in Time. Okay. It was Oprah, Mindy Kaling, and also Reese Witherspoon. It was all three of them at once. But it was Oprah. They let me in the room. They let me in the room, and I was all prepared. You get 4 minutes. You get your questions in. You get your sound bite. You know, this is interview stuff. This when I was working for Nerdist. I get into the room, and then Oprah decides that it's like, you know what? I need a break. So I sat in that room with Oprah, Mindy Kaling, Reese Witherspoon while they chatted. While she enjoyed she loves diet root beer. I can tell you that. So and they just chatted about things, and I sat there like, should I say something? No, I'm just going to enjoy this and not be weird. So I got to hang out with Oprah for like almost 15, 20 minutes in that sense before we actually got to the interview. Oh, yeah. That's still on my lock screen, by the way. Oh, because
I remember you showed us your phone and it's just you and Oprah.
Yeah, because I literally cropped everybody else out. And it's Oprah like holding my shoulders and smiling in the camera because after the interview, she's like, let's get a picture. I'm like,
see, that's baller. She asked you. That's
I manipulated it a little. I was like, I'd ask for a photo, but they wouldn't want me to do that. And she's like, let's get a photo.
Still counts. She asked you for a picture. You don't have to tell anybody that.
She didn't have to say that. So yeah, that's how I have a photo of me and Oprah. It won't be the last photo of me and Oprah though.
No, now y'all have to work on a project together. We're manifesting it into the universe.
Markeia for the next Oprah.
Hey, I would love to do like a nerdy talk show or like just something that brings in the intersectionality of nerddom into mainstream even more for people that are just like they picked up one show and they're not really sure. It's like, yeah, let me tell you about these things and also make it in a real world way. Actually, I should do that.
You should. I mean, and that's the thing. There are very few nerdy personalities that have taken as many steps into the mainstream as you have. Like it wouldn't be unfeasible to imagine you interviewing somebody at the Grammys or Oscars or something like that because you just kind of have that pedigree. You have that vibe where it's just like you belong anywhere you are. So it wouldn't be strange to like it wouldn't be strange to see you interviewing like, you know, Oprah. Like it's just like, yeah, it's Markeia. That's
just what Markeia does.
There are some nerdy personalities where it'd be like, it's kind of strange that you're interviewing, you know, Oprah. You know, not to just say any names, but that is an appeal that I think that only the top echelon of nerdy personalities have. And I guess my next question is, how would you like what advice or guidance would you give to people in the in this zone to help them, you know, establish themselves in the mainstream?
Okay. Well, obviously things are a little different with our pandemic times. I'm not even going to say post-pandemic times because we're still in this. There's a lot of countries that are still like involved with this. I would, for advice, say, and I need to take my own advice on this, is to utilize this time to go ahead and put your own stuff out there, whether that is it can be TikTok, which, is huge, like your own little version of whatever it is that you want to do, like on TikTok. If you have the capabilities to do your own show or put your own material out there, like let's say with like Instagram Live, or let's say with Twitch, or you can do a concurrent streaming on Twitch and also YouTube, to do that and stick to a time, because like right now is really good to start connecting with people internationally. It's like we're very plugged in right now. We are so plugged in. This is a really good time for you to be able to find yourself and to find where your nerddom speaks to you. And wherever that place is, as long as it's not you putting down other people, and there's a market for that too, obviously.
You don't need any more of that shit.
It's a wide human spectrum of the alignment chart. There's a wide spectrum when it comes to the alignment chart. So where you fall on that, I tend to fall in well, my friends tell me that I fall in what is it, chaotic neutral? I think that's what they said. Yeah, I saw myself as a chaotic good, and they're like, no, you're like a judge. So, but yeah, my advice would be really see what it is that you like. If you are all about 90s era horror, and that's your sweet spot, go ahead and start making your own content around 90s horror, because like, hell, I would watch that. If you did that, I would watch it. Send me those links. I would really be interested in the way that you want to compare Jason and Freddy 90s to Jason and Freddy in different eras, for instance. I would also say networking is a very huge thing. I know it is more difficult now to do with that. Literally getting into the chat rooms of some of the shows that you are that go along with what you do. And I'm not saying you start bugging them to be like, oh, hey, I want to be on this, or all like that. I'm literally saying just start becoming part of the communities with that. You would be surprised how many people have started off as a fan of a community, that then they're so active in it, they become a mod. Then like being a mod, they're able to know when some other opportunities in that company come up, to then be able to apply for it. The company already kind of knows them because they put their time in, and then like have them be, at something else, which then opens a number of other contacts for them. So for me, that is what has worked. Literally me bending into my own nerd and networking in the communities that I'm a part of. That has literally been, just existing, but also being ambitious about it.
Right. Okay. No, I get that. And I mean, your reputation is also pristine. Like, you just when I first heard that I was gonna be on Kids on Bikes, I looked up everybody. When you find out you're gonna be in the show, you look up everybody and be like, okay, let's see who is this, and it's just like your presence online is just like so.
Thank you.
I think Bill. Oh,
I like that you said pristine. Like I just consider myself like kind of weird. I just consider myself kind of weird. I'm like an extroverted introvert kind of a deal. I don't know. It's pristine. I guess I rarely get mad at people publicly. So I guess I would have with that. I wonder, people would like lose their ish if I like cuss somebody out on Twitter.
And that's kind of what I mean. Like with somebody that has had as many appearances as you have had, usually there's some level of hate. That's just
yeah.
a lot of the times it's not warranted. It's just people being big bad because they see a woman of color in a nerdy space. You see a lot of that, and I mean, I'm very taken aback by the fact that there's just none of that. Like I didn't see any of that. It's just people being kind of chill with you and all your work, which is very strange, but very awesome.
Yeah, well, I wonder if like online, I mean, I say it in shows, like I have no problem expressing my opinion in shows with like politically or like getting vaccinated, get vaccinated, like with everything like that, or racial issues. I do that online, like specifically like right now this is the first day of was it Asian Pacific Islander month, and I'm planning to do like a number of things with that, especially with the Stop Asian Hate. I mean, how dare you with AAPI. So like I do voice things like that, but I think, I don't know, maybe I don't voice it enough for a whole lot of haters to like recognize that what I'm doing. I don't know.
I think either that or they're just being drowned out by people that are just like, oh no, this was awesome, it was fun to see, just the comments, like I mean, and I can show you where it comes to mind is, again, I was watching Actually, just because I love everything on Dropbox, and then I'm and it's funny. I was watching it with Anita, and Anita goes,
"Oh hey,
is that Markeia?" And I'm like, "Wait, what?" But you look down at the comments, and it's just like everybody being very kind and very considerate, and having enjoyed the episode that you were on. So it's just like it was good to see, somebody who can just, I think, just nobody wants to, well, I'm not gonna say nobody wants to be addicted to you, because I haven't lived behind your eyes, but I'm just saying
I have my share of haters.
But it's just it's nice to see you being able to exist in some spaces without the hate being up front, like being the first thing you see, because that gets annoying.
I will definitely say that has a lot to do with the channel. With them, being with their community, where it'd be like, hey, you know what? This is not acceptable. So, with that, and Actually did that, with So I mean, I've worked for a number of channels that didn't do that, and obviously I don't work for them now. And then worked for others that have been very at a certain point the community self-polices itself. Like Hyper RPG's community is amazing. When I was doing shows with them, it's like it was always very positive, a little snarky, but it's like we're all just having a good time here, kind of a deal. But no, I've definitely had my share of haters, stuff in direct messages. But I don't, which after a while had me not looking at direct messages. But every now and again, when I do look in it, I do see like walls of positivity for the messages. I feel uncomfortable responding to the messages, because it's like literally that's like me and this other person in a private room, and I don't know what to really do with that. When it comes to people that I don't know in real life, it's easier for me
to worry about parasocial relationships and that sort of thing.
Exactly. And I don't want to type something that is then going to be read maybe in that person's state of mind at the time, and not the way that I mean for it. Or I just say it wrong, and I don't want that to sit on that person. So I just don't respond to direct messages. I try
somebody who understands me.
I try to, if there's like a running theme, like in the messages, for instance, a lot of people like my crystal work. I work a lot with crystals, and might have like a lot of questions with that. I'll try to do like a Twitter post or an Instagram post or something that has to do with crystals, or Instagram story that's be like, hey, here's the crystals that I'm using. Or for my show, Something Scary, I'll start off the live streams with, me being like, hey, here's what I've been attracted to, and here's what this means, before I go into the horror stories. So I try to do it that way to balance it out. And I just really, really hope that the people that direct message me don't feel bad when I don't answer. It's like, I see you, and thank you for bringing positivity, that you felt the need to do that. It helps me. It helps me so much. But I can't get into that one-on-one room.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like Sala just said in chat, locked in 30 different simultaneous rooms with strangers who love and hate you.
I mean, yeah, there's the fear of the expectation. Like, I mean, people don't message you without there being some kind of expectation as to who you are already. And if that makes any sense to me.
Yeah, you're not really responsible for the you that people have built in their heads.
Yeah, it gets to be a bit at points.
This is why I miss conventions, because you could
Yeah.
do meet and greets, and then that's just great. You just talk about nerd stuff, and people talk about their lives, and you're able to relate, be like, oh yeah, this just happened with me, kind of a thing. And then everybody's able to like go off to their separate like nerd stuff that you get out of this convention, having that connection, and also having be like a little bit wiser in your experience in the world, thanks to that person, thanks to them that came to the meet and greet. But also, it's not you in that one-on-one room where
Yeah.
things can be taken in different ways. So
Well, there's that, like you said, there was the you don't, like, there's that tone. Like, there's something different about being person to person and actually, like, seeing each other, and you can see, like, you can listen to how the voice is sounding. Like, there's the different social cues that don't come across in text at all. So,
yeah,
again, it's a more personalized experience when it's in person, because you definitely make that connection rather than having to try and translate what you're thinking to text and having that taken out of context and blown out of proportion. And
yeah. Or like with like Zoom, where we can hear inflection,
Yeah.
and see facial expressions
Yes.
and body language, and it's like, yeah, it makes all the difference in the world. Pretty much.
Salad, no, I don't think we should drag them all into a group chat and let them entertain each other. That's kind of what
So-
Discord is for.
So here's my question. I'm assuming that the answer is going to be Oprah, but I have to ask, you have met a lot of awesome people. Who would you say you had the biggest, like, freeze? Like, they should have sent them, like, just, have you ever watched Community?
Yeah, I'm on a couple of episodes.
There's an episode where Troy meets LeVar Burton and he freaks out because all he wanted was a picture, because he can't disappoint a picture. Like, has there ever been like oh, I'm not ready to meet you moment?
That is hilarious, because literally my biggest freeze moment is meeting LeVar Burton at the Lion King premiere. The person that I took to the Lion King premiere knew LeVar Burton, and I didn't know that he knew LeVar Burton. My friend Malik, and he's like a gaming dude, Malik Forte. He's in like, oh, let's go say hi real quick, and like takes me over, and then all of a sudden I'm standing in front of Geordie LaForge reading Rainbow.
Oh.
I was like, you can't do this to someone, man. You can't do this to someone. You can't say, oh, let me just, hey, let's go say hey real quick, and then be like so personable, and it's like, obviously, like there's like you know, it was LeVar, his daughter Misha, and his wife, and it was just like it was obvious that Malik like knew them because they're like chatting, and I'm standing there like I wasn't ready for this. It's like you can't.
How do you emotionally prepare for LeVar Burton?
You don't. It's different. It's different if you know that you're interviewing people. You know ahead of time that you are interviewing people. You know to keep it tight, keep it locked. Like when Angela Bassett with like Black Panther kept it tight. Got my picture. Her and Forrest Whitaker.
You met so many cool people.
Got my picture. She played with my Panther blasters, which I brought into the interview. But in any case, I made sure all my family knew. It's like I saw Angela Bassett today. But I knew ahead of time that I would be talking to Auntie Angela. So that's different. It was like literally turning around and it's like
You can't just Burton bomb a person.
Burton bomb.
Man, I can't wait until he gets on Jeopardy as the host. That feels good timeline to me. That is what we need as a world. That's what we need.
They need to quit playing with this guest host shit. It just make him the host already. The world wants it. Who doesn't want LeVar Burton to be the Jeopardy host?
The people that don't know LeVar Burton are the only ones. Like they don't know everything that he's given to us. They haven't listened to his podcast. They haven't seen him on, Next Generation. They don't understand how perfect of a fit this is. And the very fact that it hasn't happened already, just I'm like, oh, God, racism. What? Again. It's like every time things are going kind of good, it's like, hey, racism, right? I forgot about it.
Yeah.
I had a moment.
Because it makes so much sense that it's just like, it's a no-brainer. They had Aaron Rodgers, an NFL quarterback, hosting Jeopardy. What? No. Put LeVar in there.
Such a beautiful fit. It's perfect. It's like a gourmet grilled cheese sandwich, but you get it for regular grilled cheese prices because it's like everybody can watch Jeopardy and we can have that. We can all have that as a world within our homes. And like for in the future, because LeVar's gonna be looking like LeVar for like another decade, 2-3 decades. So
I think he's just about done aging now.
Yeah, I think he reached his point, and then that's just it. Black people get to a certain point, and then we're like, no, we're good.
Okay, we're done.
We're good. We age at this point. I'll revisit this aging issue when I'm 80. But otherwise than that, yeah, I'd be like, yeah, that feels.
So you got bird bombed.
I like that we're calling it that now.
That was like it took a lot to stay cool, not be weird, shake the man's hand when he's like, "Hey, I'm LeVar." I'm like, I know. To not do that.
I don't think I would have the cool to know to not do that.
Yeah,
I am LeVar. Like, you think I don't know who you look?
Reading rainbows, my shit, man. It's a. I think I said my name right, so I'm happy about that. For that particular encounter.
Oh my God! Yeah, I mean, talk about somebody who represents the nerd space. LeVar Burton is just so fucking cool, and I'm so glad to see Misha just out here killing the game in the nerd space.
Killing it.
Good God. And, it's just, I mean, for the longest time, I'm an idiot. I should let everybody know this. I didn't know she was LeVar Burton's daughter. I just saw her one day. I was just like, oh, she's an amazing cosplayer. Oh, she's on Critical Role. That's cool. Why do they keep talking about LeVar Burton? Let's just have to do with anything.
I love that. I love that. It was yeah.
It clicked real slow. Real slow for you.
Not everyone's gonna know everything, and we all have our plastic beauty moments.
It's okay. You're not alone. Sphinx is in the chat saying the same.
Yeah, I was just like, I have no idea who this amazing cosplayer is, but you know what? They play a hell of a game of D&D. I'm here for this.
Heck yeah. Heck yes.
Oh.
And for anyone who was wondering, the Plastic Beauty thing that I just said, you should watch
Kids on Bikes.
Myself and Noir's show. Noir is really amazing in it as for Kids on Bikes with Roll20. You can catch it on VOD, but 4 is absolutely adorable and keeps on running. Like, keeps on running for everything until he doesn't. And then watch out, world.
The key is play a character as dumb as you. Like that you know, me and 4 on the same wavelength.
Don't talk about my friend like that. Don't talk about my boyfriend like that. Honestly.
Oh, I'm sorry, baby.
Why would you do that to yourself?
But yeah, if you do watch the VOD, please leave a nice comment. Let them know that you want a season 2. So that we'll see if we can bully Roll20 into giving us what we want.
Here's the link in chat. Watch the entire thing. It is so good. I've been watching every Saturday morning and occasionally doing minor graphic design work based on quotes and t-shirts that we've decided need to be designed, like the Swoller coaster.
Oh, I like that. See, this is great. This is what I'm talking about like existing but being ambitious about it. Anita's on it. Yeah. Anita's gonna make roller coaster household term.
I did do an all aboard the Swoller coaster shirt with like flexing muscles, but I put some
Plus the biceps were like the
biceps were the
upside down thing. I don't actually do roller coasters, so I don't know the name of any of that.
Go watch it. Go like every single video and go comment on every single video because I really want them to get a season 2.
All right, so we're going to go to break soon, but before we go to break, I got one more question for you because you brought up cons, and I also miss cons. I have to ask, do you have any favorite con memories or any, and what do you like least about cons? Like, so favorite con moment and the thing that you would be very grateful if they didn't come back to cons, or if something was taken out of the con life after the panini.
Okay, well, so surprisingly enough, I guess, for me with cons, I like the personal elements that come with it. For instance, doing a panel with friends and then afterwards we all go get seafood, and we literally talk about, we literally talk about the panel, or we talk about what we're going to be going, or we talk about nothing. We literally talk about nothing. I think Long Beach Comic-Con is one of my favorite cons with that because it is literally so small. I mean, it pre-pandemic, it was expanding out to different areas that you would have to walk to. But it wasn't drivable distance. It was small enough to get the whole fantastic cosplay element, but also get the intimacy that I'm certain that cons had before. Along with the fact that I love that they put Artist Alley in the middle of the floor. Like it's not off. It's not off to some far, corner over here where the lighting somehow isn't as good as the bigger booths.
Or in another building entirely.
No, it's like smack dab in the middle, and that's what I love for cons, where it's just like, yeah, let's spotlight the people and the art and everything that brought us here in the first place. Of course, it's very cool to have like the Walking Dead booth, or here's our zombies. I hope I'm not busting a Walking Dead too much. I'm realizing I just brought it up again. But it's like, that's cool and that's fun. Or like the HBO Max booth, we're like whoa, blah blah blah. But it's like, all right. Or also just be able to be like, hey, all of these really great big and bad shows that you're seeing that are here, how about we spotlight the people that made that into such a thing that it then was able to get to this point, and not like relegate them to a corner. But in any case, favorite moments tend to be like, a lot of them have been at Long Beach Comic-Con, where it's like talking with people and then afterwards just getting fresh seafood, to be able to then walk back and be like, okay, we're fueled up. Let's go and do it. A Midsummer Scream is like in just about the same location. So like really, really love that. Something that I could do without, the the Comic-Con after parties can be a lot. Like original Comic-Con, and by that I mean with parties being exclusive that have no business being exclusive, like we'll literally keep people standing outside to build up a line so other people can see the line, and then when these people are let up, there's like nobody there. It's like, I stand that hypocrisy.
Oh, fake exclusivity.
The exclusive party list where it's just like, oh yeah, you're not on the list. Be like, oh, you should have emailed forever ago. I've been fortunate with having friends that are able to get me on that, or it's like I'm working on a project that I'm in it mostly, but that wasn't my entire con life,
Yeah.
Like, I've been the person like standing outside in the line watching other people go by, going upstairs, and there's like nobody, when I get upstairs, there's like nobody there. Or I've been the person that's gotten the really cool swag bag. I've also been the person that has had to watch while other people get things that I don't get, and I'm in the same place. What's going on? I really hate how weird people that you've worked with get. Either they become like sycophants, or they become like hard edge, this far no further during Comic-Con when it comes to like parties or rooms or after parties. And it's just completely unnecessary. Either way is completely unnecessary to me. And then also how people can get, when they're a +1 of something that other people can't get into. I just think it's a vicious cycle. And that is definitely something with cons that I could totally throw out the window.
It sounds like that exists purely to inflate people's egos.
It's like the harder end of the spectrum of frustrating the want. And I'm just not on board for it. It's kind of, it's a bit weird and arbitrary. It's better if there's things that are in place, like, I don't know. It's just super arbitrary.
Okay, no, I get that. That does sound frustrating. I have never experienced that. That's usually because I'm too sleepy at the end of cons to want to do anything after cons. So it's just like I had no idea people even went out to bars afterwards.
Oh yeah, that's some like the ones that are open to everybody are some of the best parties you'll go to. Like some of the Gen Con after parties, the ones that are really open.
All I know is I don't know what con is coming up that we can actually go to, but whatever it is, I'm doing karaoke. I miss karaoke so bad. I miss it so bad.
Karaoke, please. God. Yeah, I miss it.
I mean, if there's one thing you can get rid of with cons, what would it be?
The line for karaoke?
con lines.
Con. Well,
Con-
it's like, I think we should do a thing like they do in Disney parks, where it's like, okay, here, I'm gonna get a ticket and I'm gonna come back to the line at this time.
Like the
I
fast
think we should.
pass.
Yeah, the fast pass for con lines. I literally did not go to Hall H until I was working for an outlet to then have to go to for interviews, because there was a separate line that you go to when you're just going in for a panel to interview, as opposed
And they
to
line up the day before.
Yeah, I've
Fuck
never
that.
that's a con experience I've never done. I've never been, the person that's like, I'm gonna be here at 3 a.m. to like line up for something, to open something. I've never really cared about limited edition stuff when it comes to cons. I chose that how I am. I don't have I've never been the person that, PS5 is coming out, which I still don't have a PS5. I love PS5, but I'm like, let me pre-order and then come get it 3 months from now, as opposed to standing in a line to do it. I did like Black Friday like once, where I had to stand in a line, and I was like, you know what? No.
I've done that with several things.
I worked retail for 5 years. There's no way I was ever gonna go to Black Friday.
I haven't
Could
done
be
Black
me.
Friday. I haven't done in Canada. It's Boxing Day is our big shopping day. It's the day after Christmas. So, but I have done the Comic Con lineup for exclusives several times. It's how I accidentally have a $300 Hallmark beanie thing. But I got it for like $10 because I bought it at at San Diego when I was there.
I've never been to San Diego Comic Con, but I really kind of want to go.
I wonder how it would be this year. I don't think your first Comic Con experience should be this year, happening over Thanksgiving weekend.
It is?
Yeah, well, that was the last that I heard on
Ugh.
Gen Con
I
is
just-
coming up though.
Yeah, it's mid-September, and
Yeah.
that will be in person. I've never actually been to Gen Con. I've only done Gen Con online. So I chose not to go this year, even though Hunters is going. Hunters Entertainment is going. We will have a physical presence there at Gen Con. I chose not to go because I was like, I don't think I want my first time to be during pandemic when, people aren't. I'm not going to get the vibe, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I will go next year, though.
Yeah. Gen Con was the last con that I went to prior to the pandemic. Prior to the panini.
Yeah, the pan de leche.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Periscope.
The Parabellum.
All right, well,
Gosh.
I think that's as good a spot as any for us to hop and take our break so we can go refill our coffees and be human for a minute.
Sounds good. We will be right back.
All right.
And we're back. Good morning. Welcome back, everybody. Yeah, we have to ask a couple of very important questions.
Yes, there are some questions that are mandatory of our guests on Morning Ritual. And the first is, I have to give you the history of it a little bit. So there is a war right now in the TTRPG community between those that believe that dice are forbidden candy and should be crunched on. There are people who put dice in their mouth and crunch on them. And then there's the side that thinks that is bad for you and that you should not do that. And these are the people that are, no, stop the crunch. So are you pro crunch crew or are you stop the crunch?
How many times did Dispel Dice have to say, don't eat the dice?
Thank you!
Like, how many times? How many, don't, no!
Just don't do it! Just
No.
Stop the crunch.
Just literally, how frequently do you clean your dice? You're gonna put that in your mouth? Like, when was the last time you actually went through with biodegradable solvent to cleanse these dice, but yet you're cool with just being like, no. What if you swallow one? You don't want to feel that pain on the other side.
Could you imagine swallowing a D4?
Ugh.
It'll just tear you up.
You know what? There are so many other things on this planet that you can put in your mouth. A lot of them begin with food. So it's like, do that. Have they heard of rock candy? If it's something like textual, rock candy would give you gobstoppers, everlasting.
There are edible dice.
There are.
Holy crap!
Those crunch. Dice. Apparently, that's the problem. Is they crunch. It's not a crunch.
Oh no! I mean, you can do Ferreros, like the little hazelnut. I mean, if you before you crunch down, it's got like that texture. You can just like roll that around in your mouth and then crunch. No, don't put your dice in your mouth.
Thank you. One more for the Stop the Crotch Party. I will take that happily.
For reference, the Crunchers will point out that Brendan Lee Mulligan is on their side.
No, Brendan Lee Mulligan was a coward and he didn't choose a side. and that hurts me because he's one of my heroes. But you know what? I calls him like I sees him.
Yeah, I'm a no scrunch.
Crunch.
I'm a no crunch.
CRONCH.
No crunch here.
This is a crunch-free zone.
And we also did have Abria, who was a dice arms dealer.
Yeah, she works for a dice company, so whatever pushes the dice out the door, she's basically funding this crotch.
The words, how can I make these more enticing to be put in someone's mouth? I think the words putting scent in the inking process so that they smell like candy as well.
That's funny. That's really funny. Oh my gosh, I love that. I did a saving throw show with Abria. Oh, it was a Frozen. We did Frozen. Yeah, Riley, she was the GM for it, and Abria, I forget which role Abria played, but I was the snowman.
Oh, what is his name? Oh, that's gonna drive me insane. Olaf.
Yeah.
Olaf.
Yes.
That's yeah, I was Olaf. I had a weird ass, awesome, fun time with them. It was Abria, I believe it was Gina, and oh my gosh, I forget our fourth player, but like Riley did that. But afterwards, Abria gave me her like frosted little dice, and that was only when I realized, oh, she makes dice. So to hear her saying, I'm going to make the snozberries taste like snozberries on her dice. That is completely on par.
Ryan Zichego, Abria is Nino Brown.
Being Willy Wonka in this piece with her dice, trying to have people get their scrunch on. I doubt it not.
Oh God, there really is a movement of people out here just chewing dice, nomming on click clacks. It's disgusting.
That would affect the balance, I would think, of your dice. Why would you do that to your dice?
That's what I'm saying.
Because it looks like a Jolly Rancher.
And just because something looks like a Jolly Rancher does not mean.
Get yourself a Jolly Rancher.
Yes. They're cheap. You can get them for like $3. Don't eat your very expensive dice. Oh my God. I've just realized how expensive dice can be. And that is.
Oh. Have y'all joined in on the Kickstarter? Dispel Dice and Wormwood have a Kickstarter going on. I don't know if the 3 waves are closed yet, but they broke 1 million in the first day. No. Yeah, that's on Kickstarter.
Oh my
Like,
god.
do it. It's a $15 pledge, and then you figure out what you want, and then you add in your money with it. But like first wave goes out in November, and I think third wave goes out next year. I want to say February, but I don't know for sure.
Dice are becoming such a
I
status
just
symbol. It's getting wild.
I just backed a Kickstarter for Purryhedrals. They are dice with little cats in them.
Oh, what?
Yeah.
They
Greenleaf
call it
Geek also did the Keyfish dice. Is coming out with Purryhedrals.
Oh my gosh. You know what? You know what I want? I have I've been thinking about this. I have an empty Ferrero's like container. Like it's pretty expansive. It was for my Easter candy, and for some reason I held on to it, and I want to fill it with dice so badly, but it has to be dice that look like chocolates.
Abria's just in the
Kinds of
background writing notes.
This is an ambitious thing.
I have a gumball.
Yeah. Yes, gumball machine of dice. I have some friends that like have that like in their living room, and I was like,
That's
I'm gonna
sick.
do this, and I got a D20 from there.
That's sick. Okay. Well, we're at the point where we have to ask you our trademark question. We prepped you a little bit beforehand. This is the That Guy segment of the show. Now, for those unfamiliar, if you've played in the TTRPG community long enough, you have probably been met with the misfortune of sitting at a table with a That Guy. If you have sat at a table and you notice that somebody is being a black hole of fun, or if your joy at the table would multiply if somebody would just walk away, you're probably in the presence of a bad guy. During the 2 seasons of Morning Ritual that we've had now, we've had all sorts of bad guys. We've had someone that has bitten someone and then gaslit them about it. Like, I didn't bite you. What are you talking about? We've had a DM using NPCs to manipulate somebody into developing a crush on them. We've had just all sorts of horrible, horrible people. And the reason that we bring this up on the show is because we are working on a That Guy Bible, how to identify and eliminate the That Guy at your table. So, with that, Markeia, have you had the displeasure of experiencing a That Guy in the TTRPG community?
I think everybody definitely has. This is like a universal experience, and if you haven't, maybe you're that guy. Uh,
We did actually have someone who had not had a That Guy story when they came on the show, but has since developed a That Guy story.
ah, yeah. And I guess for this one, um, it was a dual was it was a team effort. It was a team effort, that guy, that girl, kind of a
Ooh.
thing, husband and wife, type of a deal. And it was for a game that I was a part of. The GM that was rolling this really great game for us, like really really great game. It was like it was on point. It was something new that we were trying out, and it felt really good. It felt like what games should be, cathartic,
Right.
type of a deal. Unfortunately, during the game, the GM said something that was racially sensitive, not realizing, and I knew it when they said it. Like, and it was about my character. I knew it when they said it that they did not realize what they said. So I was literally like, "Hey, so can we take that back and you just do say something different than what you just said?" And then the person was like, "Oh, yeah. Yeah, completely." And then said something different. Our game continued forward. The person or the people that were producing that, it was this husband and wife team, then took it upon themselves to be like, I was a problem. I was being difficult during this gaming and making other people uncomfortable with doing that. And literally the interaction of me describing what it was like after the game was over, then like the GM came to me and was like, hey, I'm so sorry, I did not mean like such and such. And I was like, you know what, I know you didn't, I totally did. It's fine, we squashed it. There's like it's absolutely fine, I totally understand. I know about knee-jerk reactions. I know about having to like stream of consciousness GM, and in particular, we're all human. We are all figuring this out. We all have our own experiences, and then there's some things that are racially sensitive to other people that it's not within our experience to know.
Right.
However, that guy, that girl, this husband and wife duo, then they then took it upon themselves. I think it was more the wife than the husband, but he was in more of a position of power with this game, and the other games that we have been planning to do afterwards, or I have been planning to do. Then took it upon that I was difficult, that there then had to be my name was then taken out of the running for other things, despite people asking for me to be part of their games, which then impacted later jobs because that was a networking opportunity for me. So and then like I had to have other friends tell me that this is what happened, which I very much appreciate those friends for telling me about that. And it's like that right there, that is literally it. You can show up professional, you can be 100% yourself to try to also like take in other people's experiences and everything, and all it takes is someone either trying to get your spot or having a certain viewpoint in life when they look at you, or anything like that, and then that impacts things. It's rancid, it literally is. And when I found that out, I was just like, what? Oh, so that's why I didn't, this and this and this. And but then also that turned back on them, where it's just like I wasn't the only person that they were trying to do things like that to. So
yeah. What's particularly infuriating about this particular story is that is the label that a lot of POC women have had thrown on them, that has in some instances ruined careers.
It's such a go-to though. It's so stereotypical. It's so was it tepid? It's like milk toast at this point, where it's like, oh, they have problems with this. They're difficult with this, and it's people know that it works, so then they use it to cover their own asses, and it's absolutely ridiculous. That is not the only time that I've run across that. So it's like really interesting when earlier in the show you were like, oh, it's like you don't have any like haters or like public things. People justify what they're doing in a number of ways, and it seems to fall towards them first doing it racially, and then they do it in sexist ways, sexually, and then they start coming for credentials or like work ethic if they have a leg to stand on with that. And I'm sorry, that phrase is like, I hate that phrase. If they have any possibility of having other people believe them that this person's work ethic, but they love that. Oh, she's difficult. She's not a good fit because of the issues that she keeps bringing up, kind of a thing, where it's like, oh, we're not sure if the rest of everybody there is comfortable with what she's bringing up. So maybe it would be better to have her take a time out and have someone else come in for a while. It's
The gymnastics to justify.
Yeah, it's rancid, but you know what? Those people have to live with that and what they've done, and I'm sure that they think they're good people. I'm not saying that they're all around bad, but they have made choices like that impact others. And I mean, I'm not too far along the pathway of life, but I do feel like that comes back in different ways when you put things like that on other people. When you let things fester, that comes back in different ways. I'm not saying karmically, I mean literally, like you haven't worked out that issue, or you've done an action that doesn't sync with how you feel that you are as a person, and then that just always comes back until it is resolved.
I mean, you're much kinder than me, because to me, they know what they're doing. It's the same. It's the same fury I feel when I see watch a video where a white person's just like, well, I'm going to call the cops on you. Like, they're saying that I'm going to call the cops on you, but what
I want to kill you. I want to get you killed. I
know what I'm actually
doing.
You.
I'm going to intimidate you because I have the cops on my side,
right?
To then come shoot you. That's what they're doing.
Right. Yeah, that's what they're doing, and that's what they're saying without saying it. Yeah. And so that whole they're hard to work with, they what that is.
And you know the power that you hold with those words, right? Like, especially if you're...
Yeah.
I am going to take a stab and say these people are white.
Yeah. white and or white passing.
Yeah, so it's just like they know what they're doing and they know what they're saying without having to do the work of saying it. And to me, like, that is why people like you and like just that's why Black women in this space are so impressive, because you've got to deal with that extra. You got to deal with a white person being able to go, I can just say that you're hard to work with. They try and fuck your whole entire career up, and I think that my initial compliment was muddied, and so in an attempt to like clear it up. Everything about what you do and present is so efficient and speaks for itself. I think that's what I was trying to get to. It's just like, I don't think I can watch something that you've been in and think that you're hard to work with. So it's just, but it's upsetting that is an option that somebody has.
Me now.
I know, right? That's like, you got to be. You gotta be crazy if you think I'm not gonna flex that. Like, do you know who I've worked with?
You literally have. I mean, when we talk about, just being tired, when we talk about how it's just like, I don't have the time, or it's like when someone says I had the time today, because it's like literally, I mean, think about it like with like a computer, like it being a CPU, where you have all these background programs that are going. Yes, you can just run the same programs that everybody else is doing, but underneath that, you also have to run the receipts program, where it's like I have to make sure that I have screenshots of things even when things are going good, or like what someone says, or I can't have a one-on-one with someone without another person being there to be able to say what is really being said, as opposed to what later on this person will say that I've said. Like, it's like you have to have that going in the background. You also have to have in the background the presentable background. How am I presenting today? And I don't mean in a gender sense. I mean, like, do I look what they would think capable for the job? Then you got the makeup program and the hair program and all this stuff. And it's like, it's running your drive in the red every day. And that's on good days. That's
Yeah.
outside of George Floyd days. You know,
Yeah.
that's outside of BLM days. It's like, this is what we're talking about. So literally having someone do something like that to me, and it wasn't just that one occasion. This has happened in different channels and different forms, where it's like a white person or a white presenting person has put that into, like, you know, either, I don't know the reasons. Maybe I'm intimidating. Maybe they want someone else to be involved in, you know, in the project. You know, I don't know what the reasons are. And you know what? I don't have enough going on in my programs to try to also figure out their reasoning. Like I literally don't have the RAM to figure that out as well. And you know what? And it's not on me to figure that out. So then it's like, when you have someone approach you to be like, hey, I don't understand why this is a racially sensitive thing for you. And it's like, hey, I'm all full up. My RAM is taken up with all of this, but guess what? You have your own computer and your own search engines that you can use. This is why, like, on the internet, you know, when people are like, oh, but this, you didn't explain but this, and be like, I don't have to. I'm literally trying to live my own life on a harder game setting than you have, because of all this that's going on, to also explain this to you. And this is probably also a reason why I don't tweet things like this, because I don't know how to put that in 140 characters.
I mean, yeah, because there's so many little parts of it, and that's the trick of this particular evil. It's just, I mean, I don't think people can really understand how exhausting it is to not be able to take things at face value. Like, I think a lot of our white counterparts don't understand that, like when you say hello to me, I have to interpret the tone, the body language, to see if I can pick up on anything that might give me a hint as to whether I am in danger or not. And in danger means either for my life or my career. Like, because the people that are out here in closed doors with other white people, you know, trading, you know, hateful rhetoric, are never going to walk up to me with a hood on. They're going to walk up to me and say hello. I know this. That's a fundamental part of being a Black person in America, and that's a fundamental part of being a Black content creator. You know, you have to understand that, you know, if I work with 10 white people a day, one of them could have it out for
generous. Me. I think you're
being I'm being very generous. Like, one of them could have it out for me, and it's kind of on me to figure out, like, where that knife is coming from.
Yeah, and I just want to say for anyone watching either this now or VOD, hashtag not all white people.
I mean, of course.
Just like hashtag not all men. Where it's like, you know, women, and I say that with an X, have to be aware of the dude that's walking down the street, the dude that just messaged them, and it's like, we cannot tell who is a good guy, and you know, and treats us like we're human as they are, and who has a different agenda. We don't know. And that is what we're saying about this experience as well. It's like,
it's a never ending game of Among Us.
Yep.
It kind of is. And it's totally up to, and the thing of it is, the real issue of all of it is that a lot of it falls to allyship and being advocates, and that falls onto the people that society has have the more power with this. That's why it gave water to my soul. Like it fed my soul to see so many different kinds of people and so many different kinds of country that came out for like Black Lives Matter kind of a thing, recognizing and embracing that human element. We we all go through so much ish every day. Why wouldn't you want to make somebody else's load a little bit lighter? And seeing that come out, seeing that want for justice, not only in this situation, but to have this be a setting pattern for in the future, that is what keeps me loving people. You know, that is what keeps me going into a new studio or a new project of some type, or giving people like the benefit of the doubt, because it's like, ultimately, I believe in the good of people. I believe that wherever we are on our path, we want to not only see ourselves succeed, but we recognize that we have to be interwoven with the people around us. It's like that what keeps me coming back.
I mean, absolutely. I feel like one of the things that I've noticed in with a lot of the successful people that we've talked to is that they've embraced that you can't do it alone. You know, that it kind of takes a team to push, you know, people past a certain point, you know. And you know, and I suppose on that level, that's a question that I have for you, which is, do you feel like, you know, that you have a team, and like, how did you develop your team into, you know, I'm very curious as to what your support system looks like.
Yeah. I'm very blessed. I'm very, very, very blessed with my support system. Like, oh my gosh. I mean, besides pandemic times, it's like I don't quite know how I would have been able to get through a number of different things without having my support system of being like not only a sounding board, but also being able to be there in like the early morning hours where I gotta get this audition in, you know, I need a self-tape, you know, kind of a thing. And then just also having people that can give you a different viewpoint on everything. I have different circles of support system. One of them, obviously my family. Obviously my family, big time. I can talk to them about anything, like anything. Like we've had this thing since I was little where it's like, if I ask a direct question, you have to give me the true answer. If I don't ask the direct question, then off to the races, you know, like whatever.
You can lie and make me feel good.
Yeah, it's like gas me up, you know. But yeah, with like other support systems, like for instance, for about it might be 8 or 9 years at this point, 7 or 8 years, maybe 9 years, that I have my Black females support groups were called Essence Improv. And like way back when we were established as an improv group for like a one night thing. And then we were like, hey, this works, right? This works. Let's do this. And then for a while in the improv comedy scene for LA, we were like a force to be reckoned with, like Essence Improv, because we were all on the same page of the same book in the same library, despite our and all Black people aren't the same. Capital B. All Black people aren't the same. All Black female experiences are not the same. We run the gamut when it comes to it. Like with Essence Improv, we one of us is like in movies starring next to like huge personages. Another is like an incredible like tech director of like I want to put her on so many projects, and there's so much that goes with us, but it's like we have all of these different expertises in different fields, but we were brought together with this occasion, and I don't know what I would do without being able to like call in on them for just about anything. And you know, that's a really strong support system for me. I have my Burning Man support system where it's like there's a definite, I mean, there's a definite connection that happens with Burning Man, like with your camp, and if you're in the right camp at the right time in the right part of your life. And I was fortunate enough for my Burning Man experiences to be with the right camp, right time of life for what I needed to grow, and to have people that were also on their journey in life to where it resonated with me. And because of that, like through pandemic, I've gotten even closer to them. It's not just Burning Man. It's not just, hey, we're going to this club at this time, wear this, and let's go have a, let's knock everything out and, in a night, $9 beer night, because LA.
$9?
Burners are a whole other level.
I love that. Yeah, that's also in 40-Year-Old Virgin. That was like but no, $9 beer night. Depending on where you go.
Don't even cop out of me.
Don't even get me started. When y'all finally get out to LA, you'll be like, what? And it's be like, hey, there's other places too. It's just this is the place for this night, and yeah, that's $9 beer night. But yeah, because of that, I mean, thank goodness I was able to get so close to them in different ways, like with the pandemic. And a lot of them are involved in TTRPG. A lot of them are in the professional TTRPG world. A lot of them are involved with puppetry, costume design. It's like we're part of this field in different ways, kind of a deal, from producers to players and so on and so forth. And if I did, and also I'm in therapy. Do therapy. I cannot recommend therapy enough. Please do therapy, or do or a psychiatrist. Like, please do that. Do that for yourself. Mental health is as important as physical health. Yeah, if it wasn't for them, I don't know where I could be, because there's a lot to just living. There's a lot to living, and you have to have your pressure valves. You have to. So build your support systems in what you are gravitated towards. And also, and I had to find this out during like pandemic also, there are people that you might think will stand by you, and they're on a different path at that time. And no matter if they look like you, or no matter if whatever, read the signs when things happen and know when to step away from a connection. I'm not saying that you have to like, I'm not saying you have to detonate it, but it's like also just know when to step away when it does not serve you, no matter how whatever is with them. They know this person or this or
What's that old saying? When somebody shows you who they are, believe them.
Believe them. Believe them the first time or the 8th time, however long it takes. But when it happens for you, believe them. And literally, that's just a stepping away from the connection. Everybody keeps on traveling along their path of life.
So I've had a few questions that I want to follow up on. With that guy story in particular, it sounds like you came face to face with somebody who had power in the industry, or was at least a prominent figure in the industry. And to have an experience like that, obviously it sucks, first off. But I guess my question is, how do you continue pushing in the space where you know that they hold so much real estate, knowing that they're actively pushing down against you? Like I've had an experience similar to that, and it is a bit crushing, because it's just like I don't know, I felt like my light was being diminished. Like well, shit. If they blacklist me, I guess I'm just fucked then. like how did you fight that internal struggle, or did you even have it? Because I'm projecting, one of my thoughts into your heads in that situation, but I'm just kind of curious as to what your response was.
Yeah, I would say to for first and foremost, um work on self-care with yourself, because there's something that happens when you have someone pull a rug out underneath your feet, where you start thinking, what did I do? You
Yeah.
know, where and it's like, is there some, and you start investigating and looking at everything that you did. And I will say that it's always good to be self-aware. None of us are faultless, but there are, I'm gonna like Animal Farm it, there's other people that have more fault than others. It's like some animals are more equal than others. There are others that have more fault than others. And so for the first step, self-care, do therapy, talk to your friends that check you, that lovingly check you. Yeah, like spill out all of the things, cat cam, spill out all of the things, spill out all of the things, so that you can try to get different sides of it. Get out of your own echo chamber. I'm not saying go to people that you can't trust. I'm not saying that. I'm saying just get some perspective on what's going on with it. Also, if you have someone in a certain project or channel or field or whatever that has taken a disliking to you, and has started to do that grind down or trying to get you cut out of something, go somewhere else. Diversify your show bonds, basically.
Wu-Tang.
Yeah. Right? It comes back to it. It comes back to it. That's what I'm saying with that, where it's just like, start putting more energy, like pull some energy from that and put that energy into other things. It's like, whether you need for that to be a hobby, whether you need for that to be a side hustle, and also those should be different. I am going to state that your hobbies should be different from your side hustle, just because of the expectation of that money element that comes with it. So I highly recommend, or go into other projects, work with other people, do other shows. Never put your eggs all in one basket unless you own the basket.
Oh, okay.
That is that.
Okay. And that kind of goes back to the other bit of advice that you gave, which is to create your own thing. Like right now is the perfect time to start creating stuff. So I feel that. I feel that.
Yeah. And don't let those assholes get you down.
There are a lot of them out there, people. You just gotta keep standing. Oh man, shit gets hard though.
And I will just say, like, as a front runner to what I already said with like those 3 points, and this is something that I'm like working with right now. It is okay to be messy. It is okay to be messy. It is okay to not be okay. This loops back into therapy and support systems, because when you constantly tell yourself that you're fine, and you constantly put a smile on your face, you constantly, look a certain way, that has things fester, and that comes out later in your life path. And those aren't your things to hold on to. You have got to get that out. It is okay to be messy. If you're with the right support system, when you're messy, they can check you and stand by you, or they can, confer with you and do the emotion with you and stand by you. If they confer emotion or they check but leave you, you were with the wrong support system, and all of you are better for it. For you not to be in their sphere and for you not to be in theirs at this point in your life. So, yeah.
And that it's okay to be messy thing. That is real. That's something that I'm still learning because it's just
Yeah.
like because I mean I part of I think it's a lot better to see that the Black community is becoming more open with going to therapy, but that was not always the case, and
Nope.
you know very early on, a lot of us internalized some lessons that need to be deleted from the hard drive, which is the man up, grit and bear it, just kind of keep grinding through. If you're not grinding, then you're not working. That kind of stuff. So yeah, that's something that I'm actively trying to learn to delete. Not easy, but yeah, it's good to hear. It's good to hear from somebody that's out here swinging for the fences that it's okay to just like be a bit messy. So I
Oh,
hope
yeah.
I hope that helps other people too, because that's certainly gonna be at the top of my mind for the rest of the day.
Yeah, no, it is because it's like it's I have to check with more family, but I'm probably the first in my family to go into therapy and be like open about it. Because there is hesitancy that happens with Black culture with like, oh, I'm not crazy, I don't have to go therapy, like I do you see my house, do you see what's in my house, you see my car, it's like, no, we are fine, we are good, we're here at the family reunion, all of us wearing matching colors, we got the new watches that we just bought, it's like we're fine. So because it's like it's built into society where you have to have this certain facade that happens, and even with like particular family members. I'm so sorry, there's someone that keeps on knocking at my front door.
No,
Give
you're
me
good, you're
just
good.
1 second, I will.
Yeah, you're fine. So, how do you have any questions?
Ooh, that's a good point. Uh, how are you? How's your day been? Yeah, you okay?
I just been chilling. I have this morning show that I had to do, morning Rachel.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
I'm just gonna knock that out real quick. Probably take a nap. Then I got some GMing to do for Magpie later tonight.
The post ritual nap is real.
Oh my god, it's so good,
It
but
is
it's
the
so
best
bad.
nap that I have.
It's made me late for so many things.
Same.
And yo, just in case anybody is curious, they just showed the first pick of Miss Marvel.
Oh, sick.
Like there's a leaked pic of Miss Marvel out now, and the costume looks amazing. Like I think I'm ready for this show.
Throw it in chat. I need to see.
Okie dokie. Let me just put this in here so y'all peeps can see it too. But we've got Miss Marvel's first costume, or
Ooh.
Miss Marvel's costume leak.
I've yet to play the Marvel's Avengers video game where you can play as Miss Marvel.
Yeah, you're
Like,
not
come on,
missing
you want to
anything.
have those huge fists and everything. It was like, I haven't yet.
I mean, you're not missing anything. The game still needs more content, but yeah, she is fun as hell to play.
That,
She
that
is
makes
so
me happy.
much fun to play.
That makes me happy in my heart.
Nice.
Oh, this is gonna be so good. This is gonna be so good. I straight up had a question and I could full on forgot it. Oh no, here's my question.
So come back.
So you have worked on a variety of things. I have to ask you, what does your dream project look like?
My dream project literally involves me being able to do how I started my life journey out, which is me being able to travel to different countries,
Mm-hmm.
different communities, or at least speak with multiple different communities, and bring that intersectionality of nerd element together. It's like that. Oh
You know,
Oh.
I'm seeing like a Bourdain. What was his show where he would just travel across the world?
Parts unknown.
Uh, Parts unknown. I'm seeing something like that, but you just going to like different nerd hubs around the world.
yeah,
That
like that.
that'd be dope.
That would be it. Like, and I would have you seen on YouTube that one dude that he knows Chinese and then he like learns languages when he like goes to different things. I think his name is Zhaoshan or something like that. I mean, you can YouTube it. His titles are usually white dude goes into speaks native language of this community, and I don't know him as a person. He just seems like very personable in his videos where he's very ardent about learning people's languages and like their slang, and then he'll go and like talk with them and he'll put it on YouTube. And it's like, if I had the opportunity to do something like that where I could, oh my God, like what is the nerd culture like in India?
Right?
That's
like
actually
how,
like
like where are they, like where are they with, are they like Disney Plus, yeah, or do they like love the golden era for like Marvel, or it's like are they like Arkham or bust? Kind of a thing. And that would be so incredible to be able to like travel, and along with that be able to connect with people on a nerd level, because we're all nerds about so many different things. It doesn't just have to be mainstream comics or mainstream video games or wrestling or even horror, although horror is everywhere. Horror is life. I always believe that. But it's like that would be
I would watch that show. I would watch the hell out of that show.
I would love to do that.
I mean, that's kind of where my interest in the fighting game community stems from. It's just because it's such an international thing now. Like, when you watch something like Evo, it's like U.S. U.S. combatants versus the South Korean combatants, and now like the Dominican Republic, they've got a fighting scene now, so they're starting to come to Evo more, and you're hearing about like combatants coming from places that were unrepresented, and there's a full story there. It's just like an arcade opened up somewhere in the Dominican Republic, people started going to there, started getting good, and then like hyped up the best player there and sent them to Evo. It's just like I think that's going to be where a lot of new untapped content comes from, which is having somebody tell the stories of these international nerdy communities and how they're starting to come to dominance in whatever field that they're doing. So I'm excited at the prospect of a show like that.
Yeah, now you're like making me my own earlier advice, because I do, thanks to the communities that I'm a part of, have more access to more international, and it's just like, why not start a little Twitch show where it's literally the focus is that.
I mean, I would love to find out, what places lean more towards Marvel, what places lean more towards DC, or is there a local brand that's more dominant that we just don't know of? Like, there's so much content out now that it's
like loving wrestling, and then you find out about Shikara, and you're like, what? It's like you love WWE, and then you're like, oh, what? This is a what?
I still remember discovering New Japan, and I was like,
oh, Toyota, Manami Toyota changed my life. Like Japanese wrestling. Was it a Purolosco? I suck at Japanese. I suck at pronouncing anything in Japanese.
I always forget that you're a wrestling nerd too. Like that's that side is so understated. So I have to ask 3 favorite wrestlers of all time. Let's go.
Whoa. Well, you ain't living if you don't say Undertaker because you're undead.
The Phenom.
Okay. This is in no particular order, by the way. No particular order. Okay. So Moxley, I really enjoyed. I enjoyed his incarnation that happened with like WWE. Oh God, now
Dean
I feel
Ambrose.
yeah, now I just feel like I need to just okay. Literally, I lived for when Ambrose like jumped out of a present, like a giant present that he had for Roman. Was it Roman? No, I think it was a fellow Snake. Oh, we're going into pre-pandemic times when these brain cells like connected. Okay, but in any case, one of them, and this is
I was about to be like Orton. I don't think
Rollins?
it was Orton.
Seth Rollins?
it was Rollins.
Yeah.
It was Rollins.
Rollins.
It was Seth Rollins. You know, fellow Snake. Such a, I mean, his character is such a Slytherin. I love it. You know, gosh, this is so ridiculous. This is so ridiculous. It makes no sense. I'm gonna say it anyway. Bushwhackers. They were exactly what they said that they were.
They really were.
They were ridiculous. It was ridiculous. There have been so many other people that have fine-tuned what the Bushwhackers brought and have made it even better. God rest him. He just passed away this year or last year. I even interviewed him before. He was part of. Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry, y'all. I'm
Wyatt's
not connecting the dots. Was it what?
Was he part of Wyatt's crew?
Yes, he was part of.
Luke Harper.
Luke Harper.
I got you.
Gosh bless him. Bless him.
He seemed like a sweet guy. Like,
he could do when they let him. He could do some mic work. Like he did some serious mic work, and when I interviewed him, I was so pleasantly surprised. I was getting gold dust, like gold dust levels of awesomeness coming from him, like with his mic work. And I kind of fell away from wrestling to where I don't know if they let him have that time. I just remember reading that he had passed away.
In AEW, he did some amazing work as the Exalted One, Brody Lee.
All right.
Yeah.
He
even created a full stable, if I'm not mistaken.
The stable with Evil Uno and Stu Grayson, and like that whole stable is so freaking good.
Having to talk about favorite wrestlers also gets me frustrated at what WWE decides to have what people like frontline up, and how many people have to work so freaking hard, like bashing their head against a brick wall before they can get even part of the opportunities that others get, so they don't have to dance before they get into the ring unless they want to. Type, like those type of people. And I will say that I'm so glad that there are people that are able to do their glow up now, glow bright and proud. You know who I'm talking about. With that, I'm so happy that there's other people with their long strands of braided hair are able to belayer themselves into
such a good WrestleMania event. Such a good WrestleMania event.
So I'm like happy about it now. But those three. I did Undertaker, I did Bushwhackers. I think all of mine are like super stereotypical, like back in the era. Roddy Piper. Honorable mention is Bret Hart.
Calgary Gang, what's up?
This is like 8-year-old me talking right now with like the top three.
So as someone that lives in Calgary, I can't not have Bret Hart on my list.
What do we, the people, have to do to get Markeia McCarty Ember Moon and Xavier Woods to do a D&D game together.
Oh my god!
Who do I have to sell my soul to be in that game?
I literally love what Austin Creed is like doing. I love what he's like putting out there with everything. I literally have a video that every now and again I'll post it for my birthday, where my friend that I went to high school with, the video game company that she worked with, she got him to sing happy birthday to me.
My God.
Yeah. And it's like awesome. wish me a happy birthday, and he like does this whole thing where he's like, hello Markeia, and he's like, it's like hello nurse. I'm like, I will save this forever. I would love to game with that dude. That would be so incredibly fun.
Yes.
Like, he would because he'd bring his video game ideals into like D&D with it, and I freaking love that. I love that as a GM. I love that as a player, because
I don't know that I've seen him play D&D, but I'm like, we have to make this happen.
Yes. that would be so choice.
I think
oh my
he
god.
did on Rollout.
Did he?
Yeah.
He needs to do more.
Yes.
However much he's done, he needs to do more.
Yeah.
And it's like, yes, I also want to be part of that game.
You are a no-brainer. Like, it's you, Xavier Woods, Ember Moon. I'm immediately watching. I'm just trying to sneak my ass. Like, don't mind me.
I love it. I love it. Well, let's talk to B Dave about this. Like B Dave. Let's make this happen. Like let's make this happen. I do have a couple of friends that are still commentators for actual WWE that I used to do past shows with. So it's like, this isn't outside the realm of possibility. We might have to work on it, but I think we have a pretty good cover letter.
I've done too many shitty JR impressions for the WWE to ever want me to do anything.
My God!
My God! Oh man! So last wish question. If you could have 85 people at your D&D table and you can make any one of them the GM, who are you picking? Who are your 5?
LeVar Burton.
Yep. Oh my God. Yeah.
Oprah.
Ooh.
I would GM, because I would literally have one of the scenarios happen within like a mystical avocado orchard, or avocado tree field, because she owns her like own avocado tree field. Like, she got sick of paying avocado prices or something, and then she Oprah'd that mess and was like, I'm gonna have my own orchard of avocado trees. So
he Oprah'd it.
So it's like, I'm gonna have that. I'm gonna make sure there's diet root beer at the table for this amazing woman. Wait, who was the first one that I said?
LeVar Burton.
LeVar Burton, Oprah. Let's see, for my other 3, like, absolute party that I am going to GM. I kind of want to go with the TNG vibe and having LeVar. I also want Worf on there, and I forget
Michael Dorn.
Michael Dorn. Oh, that would be cool. I don't think I've seen him.
His voice at the D&D table.
Like that. Like, if he didn't want to do like, if he wasn't sure of the classes, I would kind of be like, hey, barbarians are very cool. That might be something that you want to.
I'm just imagining here Michael Dorn go, I would like the rage, and seriously.
I would. I'm like,
the resonance.
That's a lot of rage. Like, let's do this.
You got that right, you do.
Oh my God.
You got that right, Raging.
Like, we're gonna do all the Raging.
LeVar Burton, Michael Dorn, Oprah.
Angela Bassett.
Ooh.
I'm also wondering, like, if we like, is this a D&D game or is this Vampire the Masquerade? And
It,
you
your
know,
system preference.
it's like, here's the types, whatever you gravitate towards, Auntie Angela Bassett, and then broadcast that everywhere. Angela Bassett chose Bruja, or Angela Bassett chose Malkavian. Like, this is now the true class for everyone. So okay, so that would definitely be my 4. And oh gosh, my 5th, I'd want a wild card. I'd want someone that's, I know, what's her name, Amandla, whatchamacallit, she turned down, like, I feel like I have to Google this. She turned down the role, either Amandla, or I want Zazie, Zazie Beetz
Oh
to be
yeah.
my 5th. And me, yeah, I think Zazie would be like a whole different level. And Amandla, she turned down the Storm role that another actress took on because of reasons. She did it for reasons of inclusivity. She thought that there should be a darker complexioned and African actress that should have, like, been brought into that. There's this whole other thing. She's an activist.
Okay. Oh, I see her here.
Yeah, I wanna know if I had the right name. It's like Amandla. She's done some YA stuff.
Yep.
She's really good. But yeah, but I for a strong 5th, Zazie. That would be
Okay.
I'd love Domino to be at the table with LeVar, Oprah, Angela Bassett, Zazie, and Michael Dorn.
So you've touched on something that I've wanted to see in the scene so badly, which is I want to see more black celebrities getting in on the TTRPG wave. Like, I think my dream 5 table was Ava DuVernay, Chris Rock, Barack Obama, and like two other black like I think Lil Rel.
Yeah. Nas X. I think.
It's
would
only a matter of time.
would
Somebody's
live
got to
for
get
TTRPG.
him in.
Would live for it,
Somebody's got to get Lil Nas in on the TTRPG
right?
craze.
Oh,
And
yeah.
because I feel like
He'd be a bard. He'd be so.
I don't know. I'm
Or
feeling
a
warlock.
Warlock.
Hey.
I like it. I love it.
Bardo or Warlock or Bardlock. But I feel like having predominant like black voices in the TTRPG. Could you imagine?
Ooh.
Could
It'd be
you
so-
imagine?
I mean, we've had it the other way so long. Why not try it this way for a bit?
Right.
It's like and different. I've been pushing for this too. I was pushing for stuff like this more pre-pandemic than I was during. I just got so tired. My emotional bandwidth was spent up, and I just did not have it to give. So my comparatively to my other years of work, 2020 was very quiet and very just like, this is a calm lake. kind of a thing. I am reawakening now. So here's hoping by like fall 2021 I'll be like reinvigorated to be able to push some of the things that I was trying to get done before. But yeah, I cannot see a world where us having an incredible black celebrity D&D game or D&D channel or something like that isn't beneficial to everyone, because it deals normalization of other people's experiences and normalization of what you can do at a table with people like this when I've guested on other channels or other shows, and they're like so astounded by the choices that I make, and I'm like, dude, I'm like, I've had my 3-year-old niece make choices that I'm just like, that's real black. That's real black right there, and I live with all of it.
Exactly. It just, I mean, I feel as though the life experiences of successful black people is so different than anybody else that I don't know what the story would look like. You know?
Well, I one of the things that I the altered carbon dual campaign that I like just ended like yesterday. Originally, it was supposed to be happening in March for International Women's, and then when it was just like, oh, this isn't going to happen, we got to keep pushing back. For like with hunters, my main thing is that I need for this to be non-binary or women with an X, and I want diversity to be a thing with it. And then when you see our Friday cast, you can see that is the push that we made, myself and also the producer of the show, Knoxweiler Birth, who is Scabby Rooster. We worked very hard on for that cast to be able to see this in a different way. It's so ingrained. It's so ingrained with it's like it's a term that I've used before. It's nerd generational wealth, where it's like you have, and I'm not saying that they're not amazing people, I've worked with these people, I love these people, but it's like the channels that were pre-pandemic would only hire particular types of people, where you have so many male presenting white passing, and then less of that women, and then it started to be more women, but they were also white passing. And then there's just like, where do we live in this tiny demographic? And then it's like things expanded from there, where they get these follower bases. This is one of the things, those generational things that we're talking about, where people start off further along than others. When you're starting new and you weren't able to get on these things, or let's say that you're part of this like whatever arbitrary percentage that I want to say, that I'm saying with my hands right now, for that to then be able to build on the people that actually got to see you. It's all that. And it's like when you see these same people then being picked up with other channels, and then they're the only ones that are chosen when a new channel starts. This is what we're talking about things being inherent in the system. So then it's like you have to have a diversity show. You have to have a diversity panel just to be able to get people seen. And it's like, we're not realizing that we are literally contributing to it. People don't recognize, because they feel like it's like, I'm a good person that believes in inclusivity and everything. But it's like, if you have one person that fills your inclusivity quota on something because you want to have names, but you're not realizing where those names came from. That's what it is. And it's talking about the vicious cycle. And I'm not trying to bring down Saturday morning.
You're good.
No, this is what our show is. Okay. Like we call our second half the dark roast, because that's when we usually get into the more serious topics. But yeah, I think I feel that frustration as well, because it feels like there is a pool of maybe 20 chosen people for the top echelon who don't have to worry about where that next opportunity comes from. And
Yeah,
and
they never have to worry. And then there's like a handful of smaller people that are of a different complexion or a different ethnicity that also not necessarily have to worry
right,
because they're literally always being chosen by these other channels or these
right.
other shows. I would love to break that system.
I
So,
want it broken so bad. I mean, because it's just like you can't have in this not trying to sound a kind of way, but it's like you can't have your stable of black people. You know, it's just like, okay, we've got our 80% white show, we've got our stable of, black people to choose from. There's like 6 or 7 here. Are you free? Okay, you're gonna be in this one. And then we have the same for our
yeah.
LBGTQ,
And
and
that
it's just
that
like,
that goes into the mindset of there's only 1 or 2 seats available for these people at the table. That
right,
is where that mindset goes in. That's where you have your stable of, like you said, 7 to 8 black people. That is where you have your LGBTQIA stable, and then like usually with that, white presenting gets ahead of anybody else within that. These are the mindsets that we have been given and that we have learned and now is also being perpetuated. So it's like, why literally is it that 1 or 2 seats at a table are like, the black seats are the ethnic seats, or
yeah,
you might even have half of your table with that, but there's ones that are more white presenting than others. I mean, the colorism like comes into this, and
yeah,
I'm not saying that every show is like that. There have been shows that have definitely like broken that, and are expanding into other things, and like definitely watch these shows and like get out and support those shows. But just what I'm saying is like the normal set of things is you see a show, like you see a cast picture and it's just like, oh, okay, and then there's the ethnic person.
like I laugh because that's so true. Recently, I went to an organization's website, and on their diversity page, I had to scroll down 3 times before I found a black person. It was
Yeah.
just like, what the fuck?
Yeah, it's because diversity itself, like the just saying that has gone through so many different interpretations of what diversity. For me in particular, I do not feel that a show is diverse when they have a predominant ethnicity or race, but different genders or different sexualities. If you have a predominant race that is displayed on that channel, but then you have the gender, and then you are, and even me saying it that way is like kind of weird, but it's like when you have that, then it's like, no, you do not have a diverse show. It's like,
Right.
no, you don't. There's many layers and nuances, but there's also, you can't be separated from what societal issues are like on world and a global scale. You can't say, oh, we have a very diverse show when you have a lot of white presenting or white people, but then also there are other things that make them diverse within it, because you're not being socially responsible with that.
Yeah.
And you're falling back into what you have been given and what you are perpetuating. And then also with that, it's like, isn't that just you writing the coattails on what other people that have been less open-minded and less progressive than you can be or you are established already with these people?
Yeah, like to me, the measure of if a show is diverse or not is if I can place who's holding up the diversity. Like if you look at a cast and you're like, oh, there's the diverse one, then that's when you can kind of like it's a joke, but it's also to be kind of serious, where it's just like, okay, well they have their black, quota met. They've got the LGBT quota met. Oh look, they even have their AAPI quota met. Oh, look at that. Like, it's just no. I think a truly diverse show is one where it's just like, oh, everybody's here. Okay, let's rock.
Yeah. Halfling Nick in chat says that there's so many shows with all white casts but one LGBTQ plus, so it's cool.
Right? Now it's diverse.
It's diverse because we have
that one person has to hold the diversity up on their shoulders.
You can watch out there playing. They're like struggling, like
and they always. Oh, it's not easy being the diverse person that has to hold a show, because you can't just talk about like the mainstream things. You have to talk about the diverse issues, because you're literally the only person that will bring them up. You're literally the only person that will or can, I don't want to say knowledgeably talk about it. I just want to say that has more life experience with seeing the nuances of something. But then if you keep doing that, even though you are diversity hire on the show, you will then be considered difficult because you keep bringing up these issues. And we just want to talk about the nerd things. So
why you gotta bring politics into this?
Which, and just like the CPU keeps on working in the background, where it's like, all right then. But I do bring that back around to watch Kids on Bikes.
Yes.
Fully diverse and inclusive show.
Shit, you know what? I didn't even think about that, but hell yeah, we are. I think I'm just gonna. I think we're getting close to time, so I just want to call to attention. Like, one of the things about having a stable set of any category of people is, if you do that, you in turn and you can empower people that shouldn't be empowered. If these are your go-to folks, and you don't thoroughly vet, that can lead to people having influence that is dangerous for them to have. And it makes it even harder for people to speak out against that, because this is like the one black person that made it, so I don't want to call them on their bullshit. It's just, or you
can't because of their follower count.
Exactly. So it's just like, there's a number of reasons why it shouldn't just be these 7 people, and instead give everybody a shot. Instead, let's open up the door a bit. So I just wanted to call that out as well. It really is beneficial for the entire community, because anytime any one person has too much power, it can be an issue.
Yeah. No, I've it's a good thing to call out. I've run into things with different projects where, when there is a person that checks off, let's say, more than one box in the diversity quota for people that are looking to do stables, or just looking for, they're like, oh, this person does this thing, oh, let's do that. I've run into issues with like, I don't let it show, but it's been a thing where it's like, oh, okay, so this person is now on this other project with me, or this person is now on this other project, and it's just like, okay, but this person might be like, oh, they've got these ideals that don't necessarily jibe with what you think is your diversity quota, and that's going to come out in your play sometime, but you've stabilized, you've put them in your stable, so you're not looking beyond with that. But you know what, that's your journey to figure out this person's ideals of social issues when that comes up. that's why it's always good to keep on looking outside. That's why I hate the things like the next Holly Berry, because like
Right.
when you look at that, it's because there's only one Holly Berry, and I'm not saying anything with her like talent and amazingness that is being Holly Berry, but why isn't she like, why aren't there all these other people? Why isn't there like a Amanda Seyfried that's also like a Holly Berry type? Why don't we all have that? Because there's only so many seats that are allowed at the table. So that's why you just have your Holly Berry. That's why you just have your Denzel Washington. And it's so hard to be the next Denzel Washington or the next Holly Berry. Like I could not name for you who the next Holly Berry is, because I don't think we've been told who that is. So but yeah, it's always good to have a list of people that you have worked with and that you know their work ethic. It is always good to have that with a project. It is also always good to have I guess wild cards in there, people that you have heard from other people that they are good to work with, and you want to establish more. I mean, really, for a show you only need one or two names, unless you're starting a new channel and you're like, this is a powerhouse of names for our tentpole show, kind of thing. That's different. But it's literally a-okay to hire people for talent and not for their names. It literally is okay to groom someone to work with your channel. And I mean that in the best case scenario of groom. I'm talking like Kingsman groom someone to work with your channel or work with your vision or work with your show, and you can also be inclusive with that.
Exactly. Like, and you want to foster new talent. You don't want to have a staple where if one person turns out to be, a certain type of way, you've got to scramble. You want to open that door, and that's really.
And also when you stable like that, that's the same stable that other projects have, the exact same one. So why not make it easier on yourself? But yeah.
I mean, and I think there's worth in having a breakout. Having somebody nobody saw coming.
Yeah, like Tiffany Haddish.
Oh, I love her.
Get yourself a Tiffany Haddish.
All right,
have her grapefruit on your channel.
No,
that's a whole different thing.
No,
I learned.
Yeah,
everyone watch Girls Trip. Rent it, buy it. Girls Trip is everything. Do it.
It's so that movie should have done much better than it did. That's such a good movie.
It did pretty good. It did enough to get a Girls Trip too, and it is
word?
Yeah, it is a travesty that we have not had a Girls Trip too, but that's one of those, racism, hey,
you're back again.
There you go. I got you for a second.
Funny story, I learned about that grapefruit thing
live on stream.
This show. Somebody brought up grapefruiting. I don't remember who it was, and I made the mistake of looking it up while in the middle of the interview, and I'm like, oh no.
Or was it Bree? Or was it Seffi?
It was either Bree or Seffi. What's the grapefruit thing? Well, you know what? We've had a great show tonight.
Don't look.
Or this morning.
On that note.
Thank you so much for dropping by, Markeia. Anything you'd like to plug? I mean, any particular shows or anything like that?
Besides the one that I've continually plugged.
You've done a much better job than me.
Okay, well, depending on when you see this, I'm Markeia McCarty, Markeia. You can literally put in your search engine my first name and then all my. I'm blessed that I might be able to share our Beyonce, Markeia. right now for when it comes with my realm of what I do. But Markeia McCarty on Twitter and Instagram, also on TikTok. Facebook is Markeia TV, and I'm Darth Markeia here on Twitch. And yeah, things like Monday mornings, there's 2 more episodes of like an epilogue episode that I have with Noir, where we do Kids on Bikes. I am a spiritual guru / DJ exquisite. I also happen to be 11 and a half years old, a fierce fury. That is 8 a.m.
when I got my first set of tarot cards at 12.
Well,
Right?
I don't know, because I'm pretty sure that she's capable of murder. I think we've seen enough girl.
I think, and you know what? I would also be like, but is she wrong though? You know, there's some things that have to be balanced out.
By the way, oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was gonna say, by the way, I can confirm if you simply put in Markeia into Google, the first 3 things that come up are your Instagram, your IMDb, and your Facebook page, and then it's a bunch of videos from Snarled.
Yeah, which that's you know what? Let me plug that real quick. I host, narrate, story edit, and produce. I'm not the executive producer. I don't own it. I'm just like trying to steer the ship with it. Something Scary, which is multicultural horror. We put in the forefront women, and I say this with an X, women and non-binary experiences, but we do that in a multicultural format. We are for 2021 going more into gory aspects. So keep that in mind, depending on when you're getting this with the channel, but we deal with urban legends, like skinwalkers and multicultural legends. So
I'm here for it. I am here for it.
Animated horror videos. You can find that on youtube.com/snarled. And then also we are a podcast. I narrate an additional 3 to 4 stories, all fan submitted, that we adapt. And you can find Something Scary on wherever you find your podcasts. And then on Tuesdays, 6 p.m. PT, I am part of the cast of Outbreak Undead for Hunters Entertainment. It's called Rag and Bone. I am a stealthy roguelike character that has had her entire past history of trauma and PTSD thrown up in her face. And she has to weather that, and has to also find the person that ended up killing her love, like taking them out of the equation. And she does not know that that is literally her best friend. So that is a whole epic ongoing campaign that is going on Tuesday nights. But otherwise than that, yeah, all the other stuff that I said, I'm going to get more involved with social media in 2021, like more personalized as opposed to like retweets and stuff, because I have the bandwidth again. So yeah, join me in on that journey. And I'm going to seriously think, because I'd already been thinking about it, about this show that we were talking about. For
your international travel.
I'm gonna seriously think about that, because I've already been thinking about being a digital nomad. And what's the harm in at least starting the front work with that? So thank you also for implanting that for me, where it's just like, you know what, people might be interested in this.
I can tell you for sure, I am definitely interested in that. I want to see that come to fruition, just because I think you would be amazing at it, and I think there is an audience for it. That being said, I guess, do I do the next sign off, or is that you, mate?
You can do the next sign off, and I can.
All right.
Play us out.
Well, hello everybody. I've been Noir. You can find me on Twitter, Twitch, YouTube, and Instagram as the Noir Enigma, and TikTok, because I remembered my password. On Mondays, you can find me on Roll20 with Markeia for Kids on Bikes. Please give that a look on their Twitch channel, also on their YouTube channel. Leave comments. Let them know you want a season 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6.
And maybe a movie.
Funny enough, on Tuesdays, I also play an Outbreak game. It's just before Markeia's Outbreak game. When I'm looking at your crew and, like, Knoxweiler birth in the advertisement looks so sick.
Yeah, he's got like this, it's like this mass skeletal thing. And he's like, ah. And also like in nobody else can see it, but he has in his like captions for names, your inevitable demise. Like that's what he shows to us during our games. It's like it's me, Michelle Wynn Bradley, Luis Carrazzo, and also Melee Damage are the main cast with that. But we've had such phenomenal guests that have also been a part of that, including Alexander Ward, who like he's the Monster Man and the Vampire Masquerade dude.
Oh, it looks so good. So yeah, my game is Outbreak Undead as well. Dread Rising. Our zombie apocalypse just started, and a conviction, but don't worry, we're making sure Carrie Yules is safe.
You abandoned Carrie Yules last episode.
Look, we're doing the best we can. But that is me. Just check my Twitter pin post for the rest of my schedule, and I'm gonna hand it off to Anita.
Oh, hi, that's me. Hi, I'm Anita. I run the Critical Misses Twitch channel, and I am a TTRPG streamer, graphic designer, and cat mom.
Yeah, Cat Cam. Cat's name. Cat's name?
This is Pisces.
Yes, of course they are. I'm a Virgo. Hi, Pisces.
He is a Pisces. He was born on March 2nd. And he is exactly as persnickety as a Pisces is. But yeah, you can find me here Mondays for Kingsguard, our Roll20 Spotlight show that Noir DMs. You can find me here for Wednesday for Vampire the Masquerade, Under the Pale Cold Sun, and on Fridays for System Crash, where we play a random TTRPG with no prop and no clue on how to play it. But yeah, that has been me. We are going to go on a raid. I think Roll20 is actually live right now, so we can go pop over there and say hello and petition for a new season of Kids on Bikes while they play Masks.
Yes, let them know. Season 2, Kids on Bikes.
Make it happen. And also, if anybody knows Xavier Woods or Ember Moon, make the game happen.
We're going to make this happen.
Right? Oh, that'd be so good.
Yeah, thank you all so much for stopping by and hanging out. Markeia, thank you for coming and chatting with us. But until next time, the ritual has concluded. Bye, everybody.
Bye.